Hey guys, it's Nick from Raise 3D, and in this video I'll finally be testing my brass inserts.
In this video, we will be testing the strength of two types of threaded inserts in a number of materials using increasingly dense infill structures. Step 1. Design insert blocks and testing rig using printed parts.
So on these machines for weeks, I've been printing out testing blocks out of multiple materials, so we can go ahead and put the inserts in. On the E2, I've been printing a lot of jigs, so I can go ahead and be able to assemble our testing rig a lot faster. Those jigs save me a ton of time, because I hate measuring things. So with the parts, I really don't need to do that.
Step 2. Press inserts into half of the blocks and melt inserts into the other half.
There's a thread on the outside that's much deeper than the other ones, so that's going to need to be screwed in and twisted later after it's heated up. So I can go ahead and put that in, and now that one's ready to install. The other inserts are just going to be normal press inserts. They'll go in like that. Now that one's ready to test. So they're much faster, but I don't think they're going to hold up as well.
Step 3. Building testing rig using printed parts.
So I wanted to give a brief explanation on how this was built and also how the rig is designed to work. It's all aluminum framing for the 90-degree portion, and then on these areas here, there is a nylon block with printed inserts for mounting the bolts in. All of these same sections have been reinforced with steel plating because most of the force is going to be applied along here. These are steel beams for reinforcing, and then these blocks here are all carbon fiber nylon, and the blocks down here are carbon fiber nylon as well, with the same posit height nuts for assembly. Now when we're going to start testing the parts, we'll go ahead and take our piece here with the brass insert in it. We'll mount it to the base frame here. Then we'll go ahead and take the, we have a coupling in here that will hook into the parts, and then we can go ahead and start ratcheting it down. When we run the ratchet, it's going to pull this line shorter and shorter, which will then bring the bar down, extending the springs. And we know how much force is going to be applied to the inserts because we know the spring coefficient of these, so we know that however far they're extending, we'll know the force applied by how many ratchets essentially we're doing on this and how far it's going down. I did do another rig that had a smaller scale, but in order to get a much larger one, it's very, very expensive. And you know what they say, that scales are expensive, but math is free. So we'll go ahead and do some calculations afterwards. I have a couple more inserts to go ahead and put in, but after that we'll be good to go ahead and get started.
Step 4. Test all of the parts using testing rig, increasing the force until the parts reach their breaking point. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I definitely got a lot of good information from testing all of these parts out. As kind of a quick breakdown on some of the things that we've learned, we'll show the data later. In general, I believe that I expected the melted inserts to do better than the pressed ones overall across the board. That wasn't actually the case for some of the materials. The biggest surprise was like PLA and polycarbonate actually perform pretty well in both regards, for both pressed and melted in inserts. For the lower infills, they're pretty much exactly the same strength.
But the difference is that when you get into higher infill, polycarbonate definitely overperforms PLA really, really easily. So if you are going into like lower infills or for testing parts, PLA would be a really good substitute, and then just shift into polycarbonate for your high temperature resistance or for the final high strength that you need, and it'll be really, really good indications of like testing the parts with PLA first. Another thing is that like PLA and PETG, PETG performs a little bit worse than PLA in regards to the holding strength for the inserts, but both PLA and PETG performed better with the pressed inserts versus the melted inserts. The melted inserts only do better in certain materials when you get to higher infill patterns, and I believe it's because when it's heating up that material and kind of twisting it and shifting it around, it can cause kind of shifts within the part that allow it to break a little bit earlier. But overall, it's still a pretty good method for installing them. When you're getting into like really, really high infills, it's better for PLA to melt them in, and then it's also the same for ABS. ABS performed worse across the board, but these parts are all done with the standard templates in ID Maker, so there are some things I could change to increase the strength of certain parts like that, but ABS just has a lower kind of stress point, and once we hit that point, the whole part goes. So it's just a factor with the material. But in the same regard, that one does also perform better with the pressed inserts up until about 50% infill, and then the melted inserts did better in ABS material. Another thing is we did test carbon fiber nylon X, and it basically maxed out this entire rig at 75% infill with the melted inserts. The difference between the melted inserts and the pressed inserts for carbon fiber nylon is that it almost doubles the strength when you melt the inserts into the parts. Just pressing them in, like for 50% infill, I was able to get about 100 pounds of force. But when you melt it in, you're basically doubling the amount of strength that those parts can take. So it's really, really good to melt the inserts in rather than press them. The other ones that maxed out this rig were the polycarbonate parts. PC at 75% infill with melted inserts. I was not able to get the inserts out of that using this method, but the 75 and 90 for the pressed ones, those were still putting up a bit of a fight, but I was able to pull that eventually using this rig. So testing wise, those were still pretty good. A couple things that I would want to change about this. I know that like optimizing settings for one to get the part bonding, and then another thing that was like a lot of the inserts were ripping out large chunks of the material with the inserts themselves. So it would probably be better. I'd be very interested to run the test again, increasing the top solid fill layers. I'm pretty sure that would definitely increase the strength of these parts, and then just increase the layer bonding with the rest of the parts below. So running different infill patterns or different methods, because again, I only changed the infill density for running these. But who knows? So maybe I might revisit this rig again, maybe do some FEA on these parts and redo them again. But I think for now, this has been a really, really good test. I had a great time. Hope you guys liked the video, and keep an eye out for more. Looking forward to seeing you again. Have a good one.